You're scrolling through the internet when you read. I spent $10,000 on plastic surgery, and I regret it every day. Wait, what? We live in a world that glorifies transformations, from dramatic before and after photos to glowing influencer testimonials. But behind the glam, filters, and perfect angles, some people are quietly admitting something very different. They wish they never went under the knife. So what's the truth about plastic surgery? Do people actually regret it? Or are these just rare horror stories? We searched Reddit, Quora, YouTube comments, and actual studies to uncover the internet's verdict. Plastic surgery is often sold as empowerment. Change your nose, your body, your confidence, and your life will magically improve. From TV shows like Botched to viral TikToks, it seems like everyone's doing it, and loving it. But for some, reality hits harder. Expectations don't always match results. People report botched outcomes, chronic pain, and feeling like strangers in their own bodies. And even when the surgery is technically perfect, it doesn't always fix what's underneath, especially self-esteem. Now let's hear what people have to say online, starting with Reddit, on subreddits like plastic surgery, regretful surgery, and others. One user shared, "This is definitely going to get buried under thousands of other posts. But I have absolutely no one to talk to about this, and it's been weighing heavily on my chest. Growing up, I saw my mother get plastic surgery, and it became so normalized for her. If you don't like something, fix it. I got my nose done, and I deeply regret it now. It's not filler, it's something irreversible done to my face. I used to have my natural nose. Yes, it was oddly shaped, and I had a deviated septum, but it was my nose. Now I have an implant, and I haven't pinched or touched my nose with my fingers since the surgery a year ago because I'm scared I'll mess it up. I feel stupid for not telling the surgeon I didn't want a silicone implant. I wish I didn't hate myself so much that I felt the need to go under the knife and permanently change something about myself. I wish I had someone close to me who could have talked me out of it, or at least supported me through the decision. I did the surgery alone, and I was alone during recovery in a whole other country. No one knows I did it, and honestly, no one even noticed. All I can do now is vow never to change anything else about myself and to learn to love who I am. People don't see you the way you see yourself. They don't nitpick your flaws the way you do when you look in the mirror. You don't need to change your appearance permanently. Focus on cultivating your personality, taking care of yourself, and doing things that bring you genuine happiness, not things you might regret later. Live for you, not for other people's approval. Update: for some reason, Reddit locked this post. But I want to add, don't just live for yourself. Your looks are the least interesting thing about you. Don't live just for your happiness, it's a shallow existence. Look for something deeper than that. Live for something greater than yourself. Don't make permanent changes in your pursuit of an unattainable perfection. Another user added, I never thought I'd be the kind of person to get plastic surgery, let alone regret it. But after an injury where I got hit in the nose with a hammer, I needed a rhinoplasty to fix the damage. I wasn't looking for perfection, just a return to normal. Instead, I ended up with a result I never consented to, something that feels completely botched, like a cruel joke played on my own face. The hardest part isn't just looking in the mirror and not recognizing myself, it's knowing I put my trust in the wrong people. I used to assume that if someone had a bad surgical result, it must have been what they wanted. I never considered the possibility that they were misled, pressured, or simply unlucky. I was ignorant. And now, I know how devastating it is to be on the other side. I still can't even wrap my head around over how mentally anguishing it is, and I do feel I would have never understood it if I didn't go through it myself. I've spoken to hundreds of others who have been in the same place, and every single person I met spelled out their experience the same exact way. This experience broke me in ways I never could have imagined. There were days when I felt like I couldn't go on, when the weight of what had been done to me was too much to bear. But my faith was the one thing that kept me grounded. It kept me from falling into the darkest places, from having the kind of thoughts that could take me beyond the point of no return. I never had any tendencies because of it, but the pain was still unbearable. I wouldn't wish this feeling on anyone. What makes it even worse is knowing that I was deceived. There were so many glowing reviews about Turkish surgeons, especially this one that convinced me he was among the best. He was also acting like a compassionate open ear, preying on me while I was at my most vulnerable. But you never really know who's behind these comments. So many people are shallow, so easily swayed by trends and social media, believing that because a surgeon has clout, they must be good. I hate that I trusted them. I wasn't even looking for the cheapest option. I had to pay out of pocket no matter what. My family is also fairly wealthy. But I told myself that if I was going to spend money, I wanted to find the best, someone truly skilled in aesthetics. Instead, I ended up with the most mediocre, greedy, and careless surgeon imaginable. If I had just chosen an American surgeon who specialized in aesthetics, I could have saved myself from this nightmare. And don't get me wrong, it goes both ways. There are also awful human-less American surgeons too, but I do feel they take a more ethical, holistic approach. Now I live with the consequences of a decision I thought I had made carefully. And I've learned a painful lesson: plastic surgery isn't always about vanity. People don't always get what they asked for. And sometimes the ones who look the worst after surgery are the ones who have suffered the most. I just wish I had understood that before I became one of them. Another user added, I've been married to my wife for 6 years now. When we got married, she said she wanted to do minor cosmetic procedures on her face to help with her insecurities. She had been insecure her whole life, so I was as supportive as I could have been. She got lip filler and Botox on her face. After a few months, she got more lip filler, and her lips looked scary to me, but she was very happy with them, so I didn't say anything. Next, she wanted to get her boobs done. Again, she was happy with how they turned out, but I thought they looked weird. They were so big and stiff, and my wife is a petite and skinny woman, so it just didn't look proportional to the rest of her body. But again, it made her so happy, so I was fine with it. Last year, she said she was going to get a BBL. This time I actually told her I wasn't going to support her on this one because it's a dangerous procedure. There was a story on the internet that went viral a month or so prior about a woman who died during her BBL procedure. I was scared. I asked her if she could see a therapy or psychiatrist about her body dysmorphia before doing this, but she refused and said it hadn't helped when she tried it before. She said she was doing it with her own money anyway, so I didn't have a say in it. I shut up and took care of her after the procedure. I was so glad she was safe and the procedure went well, but in all honesty, it was horribly done. The doctor made her hips so wide. Her thighs and waist were really small, so again, it just didn't look proportional. Now the problem is I genuinely don't find her physically attractive anymore, and I don't know what to do about it. I want nothing more than to be madly attracted to her as I was years ago. But everything she has done to her body makes her look slightly terrifying to me. I love her and don't think that will change, but I hate having sex with her now. I don't enjoy it, but her sex drive has increased since the BBL, probably because she's more confident now. Meanwhile, mine has basically tanked. I thought of talking to her, but I'm not sure what good that will do besides make her feel bad. There's nothing that can be done now anyway. She's confident and happy in her body for the first time in her life, and I don't want to ruin it, so I obviously won't ever say anything to her about this. I love every other aspect of our relationship, so that's just going to have to be enough. I obviously can't say this to anyone in real life, so here I am. Just wanted to get this out. Another one added, let me preface this by saying this only applies if you can find a good surgeon. If you get a mediocre surgeon, your face will just get butchered. Where I'm from, plastic surgery is very common, and there's a lot of great surgeons, so really do your research before committing. I don't get why so many people have such a huge issue with plastic surgery. Why would you not make yourself look more attractive? Being good looking affects pretty much every aspect of your social life. People perceive you more positively in pretty much every way. People against surgery always leave out the obvious fact that your attractiveness has a direct impact on the attractiveness of the people you're dating. I'm still young, 20, and when I pick a partner for life I want her to at least be good looking, not just average. I'm sure most people in my age range feel the same way. I'm just really tired of all this wishful thinking about looks not being important, because they obviously are. Wanting to be more attractive isn't shallow or insecure, it just means you're realistic about how society works. It also doesn't mean you don't like yourself. I'm okay with my appearance, I just think I could look better. If you think you could look better and could reasonably pay for surgery, as long as it's not a huge cost for you, you really have no reason to not do it, in my opinion. Interested to read your thoughts. On Quora, responses range from relief to deep regret. One commenter wrote, "Nope, not at all. I had my breast augmentation 4 years ago after I stopped breastfeeding my baby. My breasts before having a child were perky and full. Not huge but nice. After breastfeeding her they looked like empty socks, and I'm very young. So I went to my mom's doctor, and he had my try on different sizes. My purpose was to fill them up and have them sit naturally on my chest. So I opted for anatomic 300 ccs under the muscle. As soon as I woke up I wanted to see them. The pain was horrible, yes, but in my case it only lasted 5 days. 2 weeks after my surgery I was good to go. I love how they look now. They're not huge and almost not one can tell they're actually implants except for the scars, which by the way are very discreet." Another one added, "No way. I lost 80 pounds of stress-induced eating. I went from a size 24 to a 6. It was amazing. I could cross my legs. After a while I started to develop a stomach flap, as if I had been pregnant. I hadn't, and I had to buy very specific bikinis to cover. I hated it. My ex-husband wasn't a fan either. We looked into plastic surgery and I found a great doctor. I had a tummy tuck, hip to hip, very painful and worth every penny. Even when I gained a little back, my stomach stayed flat. Last year I lost the weight I gained and a little extra. I'm at the lowest I've been since I can remember. It's frustrating to be so small yet see flab, skinny fat, everywhere. I see more surgery in my future." On YouTube, under videos like plastic surgery regret stories and what I wish I knew before getting surgery, comments like these are common. People need to hear the bad stories too. It's not just sunshine and confidence boosts. A 2020 Statista survey showed that while most people reported satisfaction after cosmetic procedures, 20 to 30% still experienced regret, usually due to unrealistic expectations or complications. Another 2022 study in the Aesthetic Surgery Journal found that psychological factors like body dysmorphia played a huge role in long-term satisfaction. Meanwhile, Google searches for terms like plastic surgery regret and botched nose job spike every year, especially post-holiday season, when surgeries are most popular. Why it's so taboo. Admitting regret about surgery is tough, because it feels like a failure. You spent thousands, took a risk, and tried to fix something, and now you're worse off? It's also hard to talk about because society often shames people both for having plastic surgery and for regretting it. But these anonymous online spaces allow people to be brutally honest, to share the emotional toll, not just the aesthetics. And that honesty is opening up a much-needed conversation. Pros, cons, and final verdict. Why some people love it. Boost in self-confidence. Correcting features they've disliked for years. Feeling more themselves after surgery. Why some people regret it. Unrealistic expectations. Complications and pain. Financial burden. Emotional impact and body image struggles. So, do people really regret getting plastic surgery? Here's the internet's verdict. Yes, some do, and they're not shallow, vain, or ungrateful. They're just human, navigating a world obsessed with perfection. But many others say it changed their lives for the better. The key? Knowing your why, doing your research, and having realistic expectations. Now it's your turn. Have you ever considered plastic surgery? Or do you think society puts too much pressure on people to change how they look? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because next time, we're diving into another surprising internet verdict.